All right, so what we were talking about, we're talking about discipline and shit. I think it definitely wanes because I've noticed that I have to, and that's my problem with discipline. I think I'm building it by going to the gym and all this other shit, but I'm letting it wane in these other areas to where I don't think I'm building it because I think maybe I'm not deteriorating it or building it. Maybe it's just staying stagnant. You know what I'm saying? Because maybe I'm going to the gym and I'm going to work and doing all these things I don't want to do, but I'm also leaning in a lot in these other areas to where I'm like, oh, well, because I'm doing this, I'll allow myself to do this.
Yeah, it's
and
that
I let myself
over-reward.
lean too hard. Yeah, like I just ate a whole thing of cookies in like 2 days.
It's that over rewarding thing. I think we talked about where it was like maybe 2 steps forwards but 3 steps back because you're like, I get to do this, this, and this because I did this and this. But you only disciplined yourself twice. You rewarded yourself 3 times.
Exactly.
And I don't think that's what I think you personally are taking 2 steps forwards and maybe 1 step back. But I'm gonna grab this. I got locked the fuck in.
Do you think that self-sabotage and self-reward are the same thing? Or do you think it because self-reward can... These are mine, aren't they?
Yeah.
Do you think that self-reward becomes self-sabotage after a certain amount?
After a certain amount, yeah. But I think self-reward is probably necessary in some sort of degree. It might not be necessary, but a life without like any sort of pleasure and happiness.
But there's the question: how long? Not only how long do you think we should reward ourselves, but how often? Because I think about this constantly. How often? Because I don't know if it should be every day.
I don't think
you think it should be every day.
That's the problem. I don't think you put a number behind it.
Because let me lay this out for you. I don't know if you've ever thought about it like this, but I've either heard it from a podcast or read it somewhere or done something to where this was put in my brain. That's how a lot of shit ends up in my brain. I don't know where it comes from, but as we go throughout our day, every single day, we lay out these little dopamine hits throughout our day. Oh, you wake up, you check your phone, and then maybe you go to the gym, like say we do, and then you come back here and you drink your coffee or you take your caffeine pill like you do. There's another dopamine hit. Then you go to work and you do something you don't want to do. And then maybe at work you eat a sandwich or something so that you're like, oh, this kind of sucks and I want to take a break for a second. That's what I do at least. I'm going to go eat a sandwich. So I go to the vending machine, fuck around for about 5-10 minutes, eat a sandwich, and then I come back. So basically my point is we lay these dopamine hits throughout our day to get us through the day. So it's basically these little rewards that boom, boom,
Are
boom,
those
boom,
self-sabotage?
boom.
Is that what you're saying?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking you. Do you think that's true? Because I think it's true. If you're thinking about your day, do you think you lay out little dopamine hits throughout your day to get you through the day?
Yeah.
Like even
I definitely do that. I'm just trying to think of whether it's... Yeah, it's self-sabotage, but I don't want to admit it.
It is.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Because you would be better not doing that.
Mm-hmm. Think about hunter-gatherers.
But yet it makes you happy to do it. That's the fucking problem.
Mm-hmm. Maybe it's what we need in this modern day society. Maybe that's why it's so hard to not become addicted to something.
Yeah, imagine being... Because we're still the same brain and everything as like a hunter-gatherer.
Mm-hmm. There's all this stimulation everywhere, and as a hunter-gatherer, they don't have all this.
Hunter-gatherer trapped in a society.
Exactly, and they don't have the option like we do to stimulate themselves like we do.
They were only disciplined.
Yes. So now we're only pleasure.
Now we
and we need to
actively seek
Holy
discipline.
Holy shit, bro!
Need to
That's what we're doing
discipline.
right now in this time.
Discipline.
Yes.
Yeah.
We lean too far into pleasure because we are too far into discipline. Now it's like Joe Rogan talking about the pendulum swinging.
Yeah.
We swung way too far to discipline. Now we're swung way too far to pleasure, and we're all too comfortable. Now we're leaning back.
Yeah,
everybody's disciplining themselves.
From the middle back up.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Neither did I.
Crazy. Yeah.
It's insane. That's why I like listening to this shit, because it is just a conversation between me and you, and I realized that, obviously, but like, I don't really capture everything that's said, even what I say myself. I'm just talking and hoping you respond and pick up what I'm exactly. So when I come back and listen to
we're
something
just trying to move
like
ideas
this,
back and forth between our brains. More or less.
exactly. When we come back and listen to this shit, it's awesome to hear. Like, it's awesome to hear myself.
The last one we posted, I will give it props.
Bro, that was
good. Pretty decent. Yeah.
I think we're getting better because I think we're approaching this as we approach it as something that we need to work towards, or something that, because, like, okay, so, like, you listen to podcasts and shit outside of work, right?
Yeah.
So you're not really out of touch from that kind of world. But when I had quit Winnebago the first time and went to Martin Brower, I'd stopped listening to podcasts completely, and I felt like I had been cut off, and I didn't know if I'd be able to do it anymore. I was kind of worried about it. But I kept doing it. I kept talking about things that, like, other things, experiential things that I would experience. And I was just kind of living my own life and not listening to what everybody else was doing at that time.
Nice, Amy.
Yeah. So I think that...
How many episodes are, like, when you find... I don't mean to cut you off for that idea, but, like, when you find a podcast, how many episodes in is the first episode that you listen to? Like, for Matt and Shane, it was probably, like, number 300-something.
It's a decent amount.
Like, they had done 300 and something episodes before I ever was like, click.
Yeah.
So we're at this will be 67.
Mm-hmm. And we just need to keep going.
Yeah, we're
That's
almost
all we
a
need
third.
to do.
To them.
It doesn't. It sounds stupid as fuck, but that's all we need to do is keep posting. It's so simple, and people are like, "No, that doesn't make sense." But eventually, one of these videos has to fall into the algorithm.
Like Jinxie didn't blow up for like a while, but he had done like so many years worth of content that like he blew up, and then everybody's like, "Holy shit, we can watch all of these."
Exactly. I was thinking about that maybe a few months ago when we really started to lock in on the channel. I was like, well, who the fuck would watch a channel with like 50 videos? Like, you need at least a decent, like, maybe 50's a decent chunk, but if you got, like, when we first started and we had like 10 videos on the channel, who the fuck's listening to 10 videos and then they're like, oh, I'm gonna subscribe to this shit? Nah. They know that's like a starting channel. They know it's just going on. They don't know what's gonna happen to it. And not just that, YouTube channels go so fast. Like, all the people we used to listen to as a kid, they're all fucking not popular anymore, really.
Or pedophiles, yeah.
Exactly. Tobuscus. Rip.
Yeah, Tobuscus.
I got a chicken nugget. I used to binge that shit when I was a kid.
Yeah, Tobuscus.
Mm-hmm. I used to only watch him because he was like the clean version of PewDiePie, and I was scared to let my parents hear me listen to videos.
Did you know that cashews come from a fruit? Did you know?
Were you scared of that?
Of what? Your
parents catching you watching something that was swearing or something?
I don't think so, but I just had my own email, and it had my age on it. So like whenever I would log in, they knew I couldn't watch like anything crazy.
Okay.
Do you know the first like YouTuber you were subscribed to? Mine was Guy Does Minecraft.
Maybe Smosh.
Smosh is an early one too. Yeah, that makes sense.
That might be. I don't know. It could have been Smosh.
Captain Sparkles.
I really don't remember.
Yeah. YouTube
was kind of a blur back then to me. I just remember it being so awesome.
It probably still is a blur. We just don't. Right now, it's just it's one of those dopamine hits we set up.
It's weird how conscious we've become in these 20 years of living. 21, 20, obviously, but...
Put some respect on it.
Like, as a kid, you don't really know what's going on. You're just kind of existing, and everything's just happening. And you're just... And then you get to this point, and you're like, huh, you remember all the shit we were doing back then?
Everything mattered.
Yeah. But now we're sitting here reflecting on our memories from 21 and 20 years.
Some people don't do this their whole life. Some people don't think about how shit in their past affects them currently for their entire life. They're like,
do you think we would have? If we didn't go through all the shit we would have went through?
No.
I know my brain was taking me on a roller coaster.
Yeah, your brain kind of has to force you to, you have to get to a certain point to be like, fuck, that probably did affect me in some sort of way.
How did your brain feel when... Okay, I'm in this. I just had to make sure.
Yeah, you're good.
How did your brain feel when, like... I don't know how to explain it, because for me it was like a turning point in my brain to where I could actively hear other people and shit, where my brain was working in a way that it was benefiting me. You know what I'm saying? Because before my brain was just impulsive and it was taking me. It was like my brain was controlling me and taking me on the ride of life. But
That's
now
like the
I'm
ADD.
taking my brain on the ride for life.
What did people sound like while your brain was taking you? Did you hear them and just not?
It went into my
nothing
brain.
processed?
You know how when they say it goes in one ear and comes out the other?
Yeah.
It would go in one ear and it just sit in my brain.
Yeah.
And then when I took mushrooms for the first time, everything my dad had told me, like all his life lessons and all that shit, it clicked, and I'm like, holy shit, I understand what he's saying. He's just teaching me wrong.
Listen, what I'm saying is that idea, it wasn't in one ear, out one ear. It's just in one ear, and you never is that person's idea from their brain needs to get translated into your brain. Like what I'm saying right now, you have to understand it.
Mm-hmm.
Like the language helps with that, but you need to make what I'm saying make sense to you in your brain.
Mm-hmm.
That person, your dad, anybody that you were trying to listen to but couldn't figure out anything, it was just sitting in your brain because you didn't have the ability to process it. And once all those brain pathways opened, then you became able to process it and you could actually understand what they were saying.
What do you think that reasoning is that I couldn't process it? Because I was pretty educated
What age
kid.
did they put you on meth?
Second grade, so probably like 7, 8
That's
years old.
why. Your brain has been blocked since you were fucking 10, 11, maybe 12?
7, 8 years old.
Oh my god.
Belly's in second grade right now. She's 8 years old.
Why do you think there's homeless people that are addicted to meth? It literally like fogs up your brain. You can't think for yourself.
It does kill
You
neural
become homeless.
pathways.
Yes.
That's insane. That's probably exactly what. Well,
Yeah.
I don't want to.
Imagine. You know how headlights get blurry?
Mm-hmm.
Imagine your brain slowly getting blurry like that over time, and mushrooms clear it.
Yeah.
That's exactly like what happened.
That's probably exactly what happened. But
Light. People's thoughts trying to get into your brain, like light trying to get through a headlight, gets foggy because it's clouded with all this fucking meth bullshit, ADHD meds, whatever the fuck.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally, you get some polish on there, some good psilocybin, some lysergic acid.
I took a lot of ecstasy. I was addicted to ecstasy too.
That's
And
close.
I was just
closer to
taking
meth
all the
than it
shit
is
that
to
I first started with Xanax because that would make me feel better. It would shut my brain down and
Ecstasy, like the mixed ecstasy, or just straight?
It was probably mixed with some shit.
Okay, that's way closer to meth than it is to a psychedelic.
It was making me feel love for the first time.
Yeah.
I think though.
Yeah, MDMA is methyl dioxide methamphetamine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I always felt guilty for taking it because Maddie would always yell at me and shit when I would be on it. Well,
she wasn't on it. I don't
she
assume
was.
because
She never took it.
Yeah, you could not yell at somebody.
No, she never took it. So I would be with my homie Austin at the time, and I'd take it, and then a few times I would show up to go hang out with her because I'm like, well, I can't just not hang out with her, and she would see it in my eyes that I was fucked up. That's why I used to listen to Juice so much because he's like, she could still see the pills in my eyes.
You were juicing for real, dude.
Yeah, bro. I was so depressed.
You were
and
fat
shit.
and wearing suspenders and being like, I'm Juice WRLD.
Well, I didn't think I was Juice WRLD. I just thought that we were connected in some way, which I think we are. Everybody's connected in some way.
Yeah, we have like a baseline. Well, on the basis that my reality is your reality, and we both exist at the same, point in space and time. Because I can only prove that I exist. You can't prove that I exist. I can't prove that you exist. But based on those two, we have a baseline level of consciousness.
That's really true.
Everybody has.
You could be a figment of my imagination.
Listen. If those two things I just said are true, we are both conscious humans that live in Iowa, in this reality that we're living in. Then, if that's true, that makes it true for everybody more or less, because there's multiple. We wouldn't be the only two conscious beings, I don't think, and therefore there is a baseline consciousness that the universe has, which then makes it like a four-dimensional thing, because a baseline consciousness, like, that's the connection you're talking about, like we're all connected. There is some sort of baseline consciousness where human recognizes human emotions, shit like that.
I felt like I could save him. I think I told you that before.
Yeah.
I don't know
the
why.
Wildest thing, but
yeah, and it feels like that's another thing I wanted to say.
You know what that's
quick.
called? That's called empathy.
I want to dive into that, but I want to say this before I forget it. I don't want to be egotistical about saying it was the meth and it was the shrooms clearing it up, because I've thought about this before, and that it could be the pills I was on, but I've also accepted the fact that I did a lot of fucked up shit. And I don't want to blame all the shit I've done on these substances. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I don't want to, like...
yeah, but they play a pretty key part in a lot of that fuck shit you did.
They do.
Especially me, I know for a fact that it played, like, a huge part. Like, me either wanting drugs or being on them played a key part in a lot of mistakes I made. Is that what you're saying?
I know that's what it is. I just also want to take responsibility for the
it's also
mistakes
you made the choice
hard.
to want those in the first place.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been you the whole time. That's the problem.
Yeah. Because I don't want to, like, deflect and be like, nope, it was all the pills, didn't do any of it. It's like doing, no, wasn't me.
I have it all under control, officer. Your Honor, I'm oopsie daisy. I'm very sorry.
That's why I thought I was a good person. And I think that's why I brought up the X pills, because I was always trying to make myself feel better. That's the only reason I was ever doing drugs.
But it's a trap.
That's exactly what it was. And I didn't know that at the time because
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about drugs. So I'm like, oh, this is making me feel better right now. So maybe it'll make me feel better in the long term. But
No. Makes you feel worse.
the only reason I was doing them was because I'm like, I want to be able to treat people with love and respect. I just can't. I can't do it. My brain is so fucked up that I cannot treat these people the way I want to treat them.
You
I
think
need
that
to
was-
find something to help me.
You think that was in some sort of the way you were raised, or do you think that was genetic?
I think it was probably a lot of it.
Yeah.
It was probably genetic, the way I was raised, because my dad really...
Plus medication. I would say that plays a big factor in it.
It's probably a lot of it, all of it mixed into the one. And
The problem I have with trying to make connections like that is I always want to find, the exact point. Like the exact point in my childhood that made me want to be an addict. But there's other factors that play into it. But I'm like a dog. I'm like a pit bull. I don't want to let go of the fucking leg, you know? I'm like, when is it? When is the point?
I understand exactly.
Why am I like, why? But you never really get a why.
Mm-hmm.
You just get you just got to learn from it. You got to keep moving.
I brought up this in another podcast, and I want to see what you think about it. The one I did by myself. I feel like memory is just so that we can improve ourselves, because I think that knowledge is uncovered. Like, it's always innate in you. It's always there. And that's why I think I see the potential and the good in everybody. Because I think anybody with a human brain has...
That's a really cool perspective, honestly. I never kind of thought like that.
Yeah, because anybody has... If you have a human brain, you have the capacity to learn and to have the knowledge. Like, the knowledge we have, anybody could have it. What did we do to get this knowledge? We just educated it. Exactly. So if you have the human mind and the ability to listen and learn and focus, then you can be the same as us. We're not special in any way. So I think that you're not using your memory. I think that's why you have to be so present to, like, what we're doing right now. You have to be present in the moment, because we don't need to access our knowledge or information or experiences from our memory. It's just here, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We're not actively thinking, oh, when did this happen? What happened here?
Yeah, we're not
It's
ruminating
just coming
on it.
out. Exactly.
Yeah, we're not like...
But when we do, it's when we're thinking about our past by ourselves, you know what I'm saying? That's usually when our memory boosts up and we're like, oh, what the fuck was I doing, man?
Yeah, and it usually feels bad.
Exactly. And I think that's to improve yourself. I think you use your memory to look at your past and be like, damn.
Don't do that shit again.
Not just that, not just you doing it, but, oh, this person was an alcoholic, or this person was this way. I don't want to be that way.
Oh, learn from someone else's
Exactly.
mistakes.
I think that's what our memory's here for.
True. But part of the problem with that is, like, the more negative those memories make you feel, and the more negative you feel overall, the more you're going to spend on those negative memories and then you can't let them go. That's like the catch of it, is like, if you can't let those bad memories go and you can't ever forgive yourself for them, it makes you feel worse, and then you also start thinking about them more. It's like a cycle of ruminating on terrible shit and then feeling bad because you're ruminating on it. And then since you're feeling bad, you ruminate on it.
See, that's the tricky part, because I think
Because then if you're stuck in that cycle, your brain never gets bad. Or it never gets good.
Maybe that's where psilocybin steps in.
Or something. Because it breaks the loop. It breaks the loop.
Exactly. You just need something to break that loop. But I think that feeling initially, and that's the hard part, is what... It's going to depend on the situation. first of all, but like how long you should be in that feeling, because I think you have to sit in that feeling, whether it's a happy feeling or a sad feeling. You have to sit in it.
You definitely have to sit
for a little bit. Yeah.
To figure anything out in life, you gotta sit there.
Exactly, but how long is a little bit? Like, is that a week?
Nobody
or is
tells
that
you,
3
and it's
weeks,
different for
or-
everybody. Yeah. It's
yeah.
like finding an apartment, finding a job. You're like,
Mhm.
fuck, when is this happening?
Mhm.
When is this happening? And nobody can tell you. Nobody can tell you a date. It's up to literally like you. Like, you're the only one that's gonna figure it out in time.
And if you push it off, it just makes it so much worse.
So much worse.
That's crazy.
Thinking about bills, rent, job, car payment, insurance, all that shit. All that shit.
That's what
It stresses
anxiety
you the
is.
fuck out. Yeah, it stresses you out. Anxiety.
Yeah.
And then the anxiety doesn't solve anything. It just makes you feel worse about the things that you're not solving.
See, this is why.
Like, you can't worry about something.
This is what I've
But
been
we still
trying to
worry about
explain to you with sexual shit, and I think
You want to get into it?
well, not just. I don't want to get into that
All right.
specifically, but like, we will eventually, obviously. But
Yeah.
right now, I'm just trying to get. I'm not trying to hide shit.
No.
I'm just trying to
Yep, you're good.
get to a different point of. I think my brain. I'm not trying actively, but I think my brain's getting that way with everything. It's just becoming a numb. And not in a bad way numb. It's
Like
just
a
becoming
stoic type of thing?
baseline. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying not to react to things.
Yeah, you stay on like a baseline stoic.
Yeah,
stoic.
because
stoicism, stoicism.
I don't know.
I think it's stoicism.
I think that's like
But that's when you're like neutral most of the time. You don't let shit really affect you that much.
that's what I think I'm trying to be, but I don't want to be that way with happy things.
Don't be that way. Stoic people. I don't want to say they suck, but like
I don't want to be that way, but I think
numb isn't
to
good.
to some point you might have to be that way, because
No. Yeah.
I'm not saying that I
Definitely,
don't
if every
feel
little
things.
thing affects you, it's bad.
Well, yeah, but I'm not saying things don't affect me. Everything affects me, obviously. I feel everything. But when it comes to emotions and shit, I feel like that's the way you have to be. You sit in it and feel that shit, but you also make your mind numb and make it to where you're just thinking objectively about that shitty feeling you're thinking of. Basically, separating
Mindfulness,
yourself.
non-judgmental.
Exactly.
So then you separate from, you stop judging yourself on that
Mhm.
thought, and then you can move out of the emotion.
Yeah,
Yeah. A lot of people don't know about that.
I didn't know
That's the
about
crazy
that.
thing. A lot of people don't think, hey, guess what, dumbass? You're not your thoughts. You don't have to attach to every thought you have because it's not you. If you just watch your thoughts come into your head and you don't be like, that's my thought. No, it's just a thought. You don't gotta judge that thought in any sort of way. You can look at it, examine it if you want to, but you don't gotta be like, that's good thought, that's bad thought, that's weird thought, that's whatever. Fuck. And that's how you get out of an emotion. If you're having a shitty emotion, you're like, this shit sucks. I got yelled at. This person is mad at me, whatever. And then you're like, all right, think about it. And then you're like, okay, why am I like upset at every thought that's coming through my head? Like I'm thinking about shit I would say in that argument. You're just ruminating on it, which brings us back to the loop.
Mhm.
The loop, you're stuck in
Yeah.
a ruminating, feeling shitty, ruminating, feeling shitty, ruminating. But then if you use mindfulness and you stop attaching, that's the way you can break that cycle without mushrooms and acid and shit.
Yes.
That's what I've been doing.
Yes.
That's
Exactly.
the only way I've made it this far.
Fuck. I had a thought. What were we talking about?
My bad.
No, you're good. Cause I had two thoughts in my brain. That's why I was trying. We were talking about a specific topic there, and that's. It was like fuck. That doesn't matter. But my other thought that I was gonna say, which is kind of, I mean, I guess it ties in. But how bad did it suck to get yelled at as a kid? That shit was like the worst.
I still get yelled at by like my boss and shit.
Bro, I used to cry and shit
Yeah.
when my dad yelled at me. I was like,
Now when I get like scolded, I feel like a child because I get yelled at so much.
Uh-huh.
Actually, I used to shut down. I would go numb.
That just reminded me of what my other thought was. I never told
They
you
would
this.
they would beg me to answer them, and I just wouldn't answer them. They would be like, say something, and
You
I
told me
I
that.
just wouldn't answer.
You told me that.
Yeah.
You told me you had problems with past girlfriends like that.
And parents. My
Yeah.
parents were like that. Mainly my parents. It probably translated on my girlfriends.
Yeah, because the parental relationships
Yeah.
translate to that. But what I was going to say is I never told you this, but sometimes even I still struggle with fucking holding my ideas like they're mine. Because sometimes when you challenge my ideas, I get a little defensive and shit. I'm sure you can feel it.
I do the same shit.
Yeah.
It's not like
So
I
I'm
don't.
whoa! What the fuck are you talking about? I'm like, oh, I gotta calm
You never
down.
seen Jersey Shore? That show is good. I'm like, fuck you. That show sucks.
I was just joking about that. I don't like that show. It's just a bunch of fucking adults getting drunk.
It sucks so bad.
It's weird as hell.
Yeah.
And they're still doing it. They're still fucking
There's
doing it.
new episodes?
There's new shows. They're still making new shows.
I googled it.
Bro, they've had kids already. They've married already. They've done all the fucking
Kids are getting
shit.
married next season or something?
I don't know what's happening, but they're coming back old as hell, like 40-year-olds, 30, 40-year-olds, and they're like, let's keep doing the same shit we were doing when we were fucking 20.
Jamie, pull up a picture of someone that's watched every episode of Jersey Shore, because what the fuck?
Tony.
Just people in hospitals? Who the fuck? Has Tony watched them?
She
Every
loves that
episode?
show, yeah. A lot of people do. I don't know why. I don't know why. A lot of people love that show, bro.
All Tony does is fucking smoke darts, play Mario Kart, and watch Jersey Shore, and it's pissing me
It's kind
off.
of badass. It is kind of badass.
It's like the ideal life.
Yeah,
And
it's
then
like what we
oh
want
shit,
to
I
do.
have kids. Yeah.
It's like what we want to do. She is a really good mom, though.
She's pretty beast. Yeah, she's always saying something like she's getting them something or they got this going on. She's pretty tapped in with them. It's
Yeah,
awesome.
she knows how
And
they
the kids are
feel
like
and what
pretty
they
well
like.
behaved. Yeah.
Bro, one time,
Is Maverick back to being healthy and shit?
yeah.
Okay, good.
But he's always sick because Charlie Brown. But
They gotta close that motherfucker down.
that or they gotta fucking stop letting sick.
How
kids
many
in.
times have I gone over to Thomas's place and Tony's been like, some person hit a child today.
Yeah. Or
We're just letting,
vaped
like-
in the fucking hallway.
we're
or
letting,
some
like-
shit.
Sex offender, child, like terrorists, daycare people, like be daycare workers.
Yeah, they don't know how to handle kids. But
What?
she kind of inspires me how good she is as a mom. But one time she packed a bag, or the girls were going with her sister one weekend, and my oldest niece had called her and was like, "You got this, you got this, you got this, you got this," because Tony had packed them bags. And she was like going down a checklist of everything she wanted in the bag. My charger, my phone, my switch, my everything. And Tony's like, I got that, I got that, I got that. I know you wanted that, I got that, I got your AirPods. And I'm like, God damn, I wouldn't even know she wanted all this shit.
I gotta be honest, first time I met her, threw me off, bro. She kind of had a bad attitude, and the way she
She's
talks
still got that
is kind of mean.
sometimes.
But then, like the more I was like, oh no, this is just how it is.
She gets overwhelmed. She's got her own demons in her head
Yeah,
that she's
I was
battling.
gonna say 4 kids. You're working at a daycare center. You got to deal with
To
for
be
real.
honest, I think that's what
For
she
real, you have
uses
to
her-
deal with people beating children and like
Mhm.
treating them poorly, which like sucks,
Mhm.
dick.
I think that's what she uses her phone for a lot of the times.
Yeah,
I think she's
probably.
got her own demons and she doesn't know how to handle them. That's why I spend a lot of time there, to be honest, is because
You,
I
you don't know what they
both
talk
of them.
about when they're laying in that bed late at night.
No, I don't. But they talk to me about everything. Like they talk to me about when they fucking shit. They
Gross.
talk, yeah, they talk to me
It's
about
like your older
literally
brother and
everything.
sister.
They don't give a fuck. But I know they both got demons, and it's gonna translate onto those kids.
I
That's
think
the only
Thomas-
reason I go there so often. Is because I'm not just a core for the kids. I'm a core for everybody there. I'm a stable environment.
Yeah.
That's why when I
You're the
start
oil
tweaking
for the
out,
engine.
exactly. Why? That's when I start tweaking out. I start freaking out for real because I'm like, I gotta stay stable for my dad. I gotta stay stable
Yeah,
for them.
that might be too much pressure on
It
yourself.
is a lot of
That's probably
pressure,
not
but-
real. You probably don't have to be there.
I don't.
But the fact that you are is pretty fucking cool.
But I can hold on to it when I'm in like a stable mindset. I can hold on to all that pressure. I'm
Yeah.
like, I gotta lift
Me too,
all my
yeah.
family out of poverty. But like when I got fired, all that shit went down.
Yeah.
That's another reason I started tweaking out about
That's-
people
that-
helping me and shit.
That is when
So I'm
I
like,
had to lock in, and I was like, all right, it's time for me to. I would like to say normally I'm pretty calm, I'm pretty chill, but that was like especially that week. I was like, I gotta lock in and make sure he knows he's gonna be okay. Like
I was
he
freaking
knows
out.
I'll buy him dinner, I'll pay for whatever. Like I got this motherfucker. I was like, all right, I gotta lock in. I hope you felt that a little bit where I was like, you're
I
gonna
did,
be
bro.
all right.
I did, and I forget. Like I don't forget. I obviously know.
Because you were tweaking like pretty much every night, and I would be
Yeah.
like, bro,
Yeah.
you're chilling, like you're gonna be all right.
I don't forget, but the feeling, like it
Yeah,
goes
you
down
should-
over
yeah.
time. But I know,
You shouldn't
bro.
forget
like
it, but
I,
you should stop attaching to the feeling as much.
yeah, the feeling disappears,
Yeah.
but the memory stays, and that's what really made me realize like family and friendships are the only really thing that matter.
Yeah.
Because if you're in like a funk, the
Hell.
relationships that you have, are the only thing that's gonna matter.
Yeah, that's loyalty. And $1 where they can buy it.
All right, you gotta talk so I can go get more.
That's life by a little too easy.
Can I spill
You
yours?
getting more? No, you knocked the Benjamins over.
My bad.
Shit, crackers.
Yeah, I'm getting Mo.
What you guys want to talk about?
You want Mo?
We want Mo. I'll take Mo. Pull me up. I'm gonna need more Coca-Cola. All right. God damn. Folks, it's gonna be a long night. All right. Do you ever think of like? Do you ever think that that boat hit the bridge on purpose? Like, if we're being honest, did it hit it on purpose? It's a Singapore company. They're only allowed to dock twice. That dock is the 9th largest dock in the U.S. It's in charge of most of our farming equipment and most of our cars. If they're trying to make the no combustion engines by 2025 and they took out the main port for cars, don't you think that'd be a easier way to implement the cars, especially if the prices keep going up? The prices for cars are already crazy. Since they are a foreign cargo ship, they run on a low maintenance cost because they can only dock twice in the U.S. before returning to their country. So they have a lot of low budget, like they run on a string budget. They're supposed to be able to steer when they run out of power. But if the maintenance was so bad that they couldn't steer, that'd be an excuse. But the maintenance should never be that bad. Have you ever been on a boat? You can always steer it when it runs out of power. It's just weird. They lose power. They only issue the mayday right before they hit the bridge. The cops had no time to respond or evacuate anybody. I don't know. It's just weird. Do you think it was the Taliban? Maybe ISIS? Was it the Jews? Was it the Palestinians? Who knows, Cody? Oh, Coke.
In short, for the retards like me, cars suck, they fall apart. Boats suck, they fall apart. Anything with a mechanical engine, we need to figure something else out better. That's just the main point.
Where's the anti-gravity machines, you cocksuckers?
Exactly.
Where are they? Well, they're in wherever Babu's.
I was going to ask you a question about that, because I said something else on the other podcast, and I want to ask you about it. You think that they're... You think they're going to build a bridge the exact same way there? Like, if they build a bridge that's the exact same bridge, sure, it lasted a little while, and it will last a decent amount of time. But, like, are we really building the same bridge here? Or, like, what I'm saying is, like, what they better... No. What I'm saying is they need to advance and build bridge building technology. If we're going to have ships on the ocean and shit, we better have a fucking...
That bridge is probably hella stable. Do you know how much mass is moving on that cargo ship?
I understand.
Like hundreds of thousands of pounds of shit.
What I'm saying is we need to figure something else out to where that doesn't happen.
Tunnel.
That might be a good idea. You put a tunnel under the bridge and then underneath it.
Tunnel.
Yeah, because then you could build the bridge a little bit higher and then...
Make it out of glass so it scares the fuck out of people.
That's a good idea. That's actually a really good idea.
I already thought about it. You don't think I'm this deep into the conspiracy and I haven't thought about different ways to move the cars?
What were you saying?
It's like the main interstate.
What were you saying?
Baltimore.
You think they did that on purpose?
No, not really. I've just been on Twitter too much.
Mm.
I've just read every schizophrenic guy on Twitter's conspiracy theories.
That's exactly what I was
I have a
say.
good enough memory to regurgitate them. I think they just fucked up and it was a crew that didn't know what they were doing. There's also reports of them hitting like minor crashes throughout their entirety of existing. Like they've backed into docks and shit.
Benjamin?
Yeah, they're done.
I think the Dave Chappelle was the... Not Dave Chappelle. Dave Attell was the pod I was listening to, but they're talking
Their
about
names
how,
are too close.
I know. It mixes me up all the time. But I'm pretty sure they were talking about... I don't know if it was him, but I'm going to say it was him. Yeah. He was talking about how Twitter gives you schizophrenia.
It does,
Not
dude.
gives you, but it's like...
There's
if
too
you want
many of them.
temporary schizophrenia...
Go to Twitter.
Exactly, because it's so many different thoughts
it's just,
from so many different crazy
like,
people in your head. It's like,
all of a sudden Elon's tweeting and you're like, oh, that's cool. And then just fucking titties and then you're like, boat conspiracy. You're like, holy shit. Oh, thank you, my friend. No, yeah, I don't think it was a legit terrorist attack. I think it is fun to look at the conspiracies and be like, that's crazy. Also, another part of that conspiracy is the CEO for that boat company is sisters-in-laws with the Senator Mitch McConnell, and she suicided herself on a Texas ranch, which is also where JFK got assassinated. It was Texas. She got drunk and backed her car into a pond on the ranch.
What does that mean?
This guy on Twitter says the CIA killed her.
Why?
And
Just
she owns that boat.
McConnell is
If they were trying to get into the boat company to make a fake terrorist attack to go to war with something, which this is all schizophrenia conspiracy theories. They killed the CEO to infiltrate to make that happen.
That would make sense, I suppose.
Yeah, but it's
a weird
barely,
theory.
barely makes sense. Barely. Do you see how deep I had to go in words to describe that to you?
How crazy do you think some of these theories are, though?
I think they're bad. I think a lot of people have like for real, like
A lot of people
mental
do have
disorders.
bad ones, but like what I'm saying is like some of them, they sound outlandish. Like when Alex Jones
Yeah.
was saying that
Well, that's just
there
because
was
the way
an
he
island
talks
with a
is
bunch of
outlandish.
kids and shit on there.
Because he doesn't like he talks outlandish. He doesn't back it up with any like data a lot. It just turns out he's right, but he forgets to put in like real stats. But also on the flip side, how the fuck are you gonna find those real stats? You can't Google them.
Yeah, you gotta look deep.
Yeah, you gotta go Tor or something.
Even
like
when
that.
I was looking up, cause like when I was reading that book that we're not allowed to talk about. Fuck you, YouTube. I'm sorry, YouTube. Give us money, goddammit. What are we doing, man? All right, well, that book we're not allowed to talk about.
The one thou who
Even
shall
to
not
find
be named.
shit for that book, it was
Voldemort.
damn near impossible.
That book is Voldemort.
Yes, exactly. But like, it was hard to find. I would have to do a deep dive while I was at work. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
really? No way. And then I'd fucking pull out my phone and start searching for like 10,
You gotta
15
type in almost
minutes.
exactly what they say.
Yeah. Or even to look at it, if you go onto his website,
He's got the links.
yeah, bro, he cited everything. And not only
Oh,
that, he
shit.
keeps adding more chapters. Because
Damn.
he's like, I know that there's still more unfolding as this book has been published, so I'm going to keep releasing chapters on this.
Is there like updated versions of the book too?
On his fucking
you're on
website.
Audible.
On his website, there's
Oh,
updated
shit.
versions, updated chapters.
Damn, that's
Yeah.
cool as fuck.
Yeah, he's an awesome motherfucker. I'm
It's
gonna
too
vote
bad he's
for
not
him.
gonna be our president.
I would vote for him if he was gonna be our president.
I
RFK
might
is a
still
good
vote for
president.
him, but he's not gonna win.
He won't win.
No, he's not gonna win. Unfortunately, they fucked him over. This fucking election process we have is a fucking joke.
He hangs out with Tulsi Gabbard too.
Yeah, which is also like I would
A
vote for her.
good-ass president,
If
yes.
either of those guys, if it was RFK versus Tulsi Gabbard, I wouldn't know who to vote for. Honestly.
No.
Probably Tulsi Gabbard. Fuck around, and get a woman in there because she's a kick-ass lady for real.
I'd probably vote for her too. You want to know why? Just because
She's
she
a veteran too.
not just that, but all of her values and personality aside, which is great, obviously. She is the most biologically. This is what I found out from the RFK pod with Theo. She is the most biologically diverse person
Really?
on this planet. Yeah, she did one of those 23andMe tests.
She got 1% of everything in there. or
She had
something?
everything in her DNA, basically every country almost.
Holy shit!
It was insane.
So nobody can ever pull your racist card out on her.
No, hell no. And she's
She's
black.
got the pass for
she's
everything.
fucking served in the military.
Hawaiian
She
or
was
something too.
Hawaiian.
Yeah.
She fucking served for the government as a governor or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Like she was the perfect
She was a medic
fucking
in the
president.
military. Like
Yeah.
she rescued people while getting shot at.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's Medal of Honor shit. If she wasn't a medic, like
How crazy is it that Hawaii had that nuclear threat? That they accidentally
they
had
just
their
butt
fucking
dialed the
alarms
fucking
going off.
nuclear
Yeah.
threat. Yeah.
I would shit my
And Jim
fucking
Carrey
pants.
just made peace with death and sat on the beach and chilled.
Did you
read about that?
Uh-uh.
He like got the text, he read it, he called his agent. The agent was like, "It seems legit, man. I'm sorry." He's like, "All right." He just went and sat on the beach, just put his sunglasses on, and just fucking chilled out and waited for death.
Probably
Made
what
his
I would
peace,
do.
and now he's a hippie. Have you looked into him recently?
Mm-mm.
He like has like, he's made peace with like nature. Like he's got squirrels crawling on him and shit.
That's awesome.
Like hippie, like for real, like nature energy, like mother nature energy, where he's like, "Come here, dear, pet, pet."
See, that gives
Go
me
on.
hope, bro.
Yeah, it's pretty
It gives
beautiful.
me hope that we're gonna turn this shit around. Like that's what's so crazy is we got all this shit. If you completely, let's say you stop looking at the news, you like, all right, your phone breaks, you can't look at it for a year. But if you just focus on what's going on around you, there's nothing really bad going on around you, and everything's pretty good.
When I got out of the inpatient, I didn't really have my phone for a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like you're reading about these migrants crossing over and all this other shit. I have optimism
Oh,
because
yeah.
we're always getting told by these higher elites that everything's gonna fall
Yeah.
apart, and if we don't follow what they say,
Yeah.
we're gonna get fucked up. We gotta take this vaccine.
That's one of the biggest tricks they play. Is you're all gonna die. Oh.
Yeah.
It's
They
all
use
terrible.
fear.
Everybody hates each other. Blah. But then you go out in public, you're like, that guy just waved at me. I don't think he
Yeah.
hates me. Like,
Yeah. This guy's just fine.
I had a 30-minute conversation with this guy. I really don't think he's my enemy.
I wish that. I don't know. I think we're gonna get through this shit.
Yeah,
I don't know.
sure. I think we got hope.
I was watching these short clips and
I have hope that a lot of people have hope. Look at this flag, bro.
American goddamn.
You think we're gonna let
flag.
that fall at any point?
Hell no.
Hell no. You think we should end it? I feel like that's a pretty good note to end it on.
I think so too.
All right. Love you guys. Freedom.
America, motherfucker.